Cloak and Dagger is the most versatile strategist in Marvel Rivals, but their kit can be a little confusing. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to play them like one above all by breaking down one above all gameplay. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know by liking the video and comment who you want to see next. Thanks for watching. Greedy is the #1 Cloak and Dagger, averaging 20,000 healing per 10 minutes. All right, we are starting in round 2. They did drop the first round, unfortunately, but as we know, they end up winning the game. In terms of the comp, they're both going solo tank Magneto. Luna and Mantis were banned in this game, as well as Hulk and Hawkeye. Looks like they are going to lose. They have 3 friendlies down already, 4 people down. They're just going to back up and regroup. Quick sidebar. If you get picked like that early, especially if it's 2 or 3 picks, save yourself the time, save them the ult charge, right? Just back up and regroup. Very smart. What I expect to see is a lot of Dagger and not so much Cloak. In my experience, the best Cloak and Dagger players use Cloak exclusively for the occasional utility and spend the majority of the time on Dagger because the healing output is so strong. They are going to opt to go right here. They try to contest top left. That's where people usually fight, but I think it was so contested up there, they decided to just try something different. A lot of ults are about to go off, I think, since so many people have them. Hella does get a pick on the Magneto, which is big. And yeah, here come all the ults. This game is so hard to follow sometimes if you're watching. Like in a span of what? So the enemy Cloak and Dagger use their ult. Adam Warlock pops his ult to start the revives. The friendly Star-Lord is ulting, and the Hela is ulting as well. A span of like 3 seconds, 4 ultimates were popped. Good news is, as Magneto takes out the Warlock, actually a huge pick there. But if they can survive this initial engagement, Cloak and Dagger is about to get their ultimate, which is a super powerful zoning ultimate. And I think if I just speed it up here, we're gonna see that happen. So she gets her ult. She's probably gonna ult on point, especially as the Bucky uses his ult. I don't know the exact healing value, but you are essentially invincible while standing on the Cloak and Dagger ult. I've seen videos, I've seen TikToks of people testing this, and I think the craziest one I saw is someone was standing on a Cloak and Dagger ultimate while an enemy Punisher was ulting on them, and they stayed essentially at full HP. So the healing output by a Cloak and Dagger ult exceeds the DPS of a Punisher ult. It's insane. And so you see this a lot with Cloak and Dagger players where you either ult on point, which helps stall it, helps win the fight to take it, etc. Or you use it to kind of push forward and take space. Because again, as long as you're standing on this kind of ghastly whatever surface from the ult, you're invincible until it goes away. Looks like they are going to win they already have, yeah, that's 3 picks. Enemy team's not going to be able to contest it. So they are going to capture the point. They did give up 60%, which isn't ideal, but overall, so looking to help the Star-Lord take out whoever that is. Enemy Star-Lord. Okay. Other teams coming back again, pushing high ground. That's the most common push you see from people, just because high ground is superior almost always. And if you look at the play style, again, staying in Dagger form, vast majority of the time, sitting very much in the back line, just keeping her team up. That's where Cloak and Dagger gets her value. You're gonna see Cloak here and there, but it's mostly Dagger sitting in the back line, just keeping the team full HP. That E is a projectile heal, does a ton. The right click is an AoE heal, that does a ton. Her left click does a lot of healing. And actually, right there is a prime example of, so right here, there's a choke point here, and she wants to blind that entire choke. What she's gonna do is hit shift to switch to Cloak for a fraction of a second. I think it's coming up here. Going to use the E to put that blind up. Yeah, it's happening right here. So she hits shift, hits E to send out the blind, and immediately switches back to Dagger. So you're still getting the value out of Cloak with the E while not sacrificing a bunch of time as Dagger to keep the heals going. Magneto's looking to ult the point. Did I miss something? Why did he throw that there? He walks up, he ults. He just tosses it out of bounds. I'm so confused. So it's charging up. Looks like he's trying to hit the Hela, Loki, Magneto, all of them. Did he try tracking the Hela? Oh my god. I think what he tried doing, if you notice, he's lining up to ult this core group. I don't know if he's scared of Hela, if it's a personal beef for what's going on, but trying to get the Hela here, and the Hela shifts up. Does she ever ult? No. Tries to track the bird and just overshoots it, yeets it off the map. That is not how to play Magneto. I probably shouldn't be criticizing because because pretty sure this guy's also top 500. He probably just, you know, had a mental part there, but that is how not to Magneto ult. Jesus. Anyway, that was fun. That's actually a huge whiff by Magneto. Enemy Star-Lord is going to ult, takes out multiple, got Loki and Star-Lord. Hela gets 2 big picks though. They do lose the point, which is not ideal. Kind of an awkward fight here. Trying to back up, gonna ult back on point, I assume. Yes. Again, Cloak and Dagger ult is so good at taking space and holding space. Right here, I'm gonna try slowing it down. There's so much going on. So it's from a pick standpoint. Greedy's team has 2 down. Enemy team has 2 down. It's a 4v4, but everyone's like awkwardly spread out. There isn't a lot of team play going on here. But since she has her ult, just ults on point, which is a signal to her team to, hey, just get the point. You're gonna be invincible. Let's just group up and close out this fight. That's what she does. They all get on and they get the point back. Almost had 20,000 heals. I mean, credit to the enemy Cloak and Dagger as well. Actually outperforming from a heal standpoint, getting a little more damage, a little more utility on our side here. But I mean, Cloak and Dagger, just a very good character. I'm a little scared about the buff they're giving her in season 1. I don't think she needs it. What do I know? Approaching 75% captured here. The enemy team is doing kind of a weird split push back, which I'm not sure I understand why. Gonna drop down. This is kind of an awkward engagement. There she go. Okay. Sorry to keep pausing. But again, look at the use of Cloak. So in Dagger, vast majority of the time, switches to Cloak to send the E, blind the Strange and whoever this is in the corner. Is that the enemy Cloak and Dagger? And immediately switches back to Dagger. You don't want to completely ignore Cloak's utility because there is so much there. It's just, if you're going to play this character to the max potential, you want to be staying in Dagger 95% of the time and briefly switching to Cloak for the utility. They do actually lose the point here as they were about to close out the round, which is not ideal. Looks like a rare aggressive play here to take out the Adam Warlock, and she's going to pay for it. So I'm not sure. In one of the last fights, there was a very big ultimate in revive or series of revives by the Adam Warlock, so I'm not sure if she was just trying to stop that from happening again. It could be because you can see Adam Warlock has his ult here in the top left. Could be trying to shut that down, but opts to, for the first time all game, really commit to Cloak form and just burst him down and take him out of the fight. Unfortunately, Hela is in the middle of her ult, is going to take her out. But curious if that's enough to win the round. Not having Warlock in that ultimate is actually huge for her team, so not the worst play. And it looks like they might actually close out this round. Are they going to touch is the question. They do, and they are capturing the point. Almost back. Hela and Star-Lord get a couple of big picks. This should be over. Actually, quick side note too. The enemy Cloak and Dagger, where is it? Here. Wait. Oh, I thought the enemy Cloak and Dagger ulted. Loki, actually, when did she copy her? Right here. Wow, what a play by Loki. I want to change POVs for that. So to contest this point, Loki has his ultimate, decides to use it on the friendly Cloak and Dagger to ult on point. That was big brain. Again, Cloak and Dagger's ultimate, I keep saying it, but it's so strong. It's like at taking space, holding space. For the Loki to have the awareness there, that won them the round. Like unironically. To counter the enemy Bucky ult, by the way, Adam Warlock was looking to res, but the Iron Fist takes him out before he gets the res off, gets the Doctor Strange, and that is a clean second round. Round 3, here we go. Doesn't look like there's really any changes to the team comp. Still solo Magneto on both sides. DPS, you have Hela, Star-Lord on both sides. Only difference is we have an Iron Fist. They have a Bucky, but supports everything else staying the same. Adam Warlock getting a pick on our Hela right away. Not ideal. Star-Lord ulting, and again, talk about reaction time. So enemy Star-Lord ults, and within what? Half a second, presses Q, ult onto point to completely offset Star-Lord ult and really any other ult for like 5-10 seconds. A lot of ultimates happening right now. Looks like the enemy Cloak and Dagger ulted as well, and I think that's it. So 3 ults used early by both teams, and they do unfortunately lose the fight. Iron Fist gets a big pick on Bucky. They are up 2 picks here. Iron Fist got Hela as well, and Magneto. Kind of want to see that actually. So Iron Fist ults here, takes out Bucky, switches to Hela. You don't see Iron Fist a lot in top 500 because he is pretty easy to counter, but that was a huge play. That allows them to capture the point back and only gave up 14%, which is big. Looks like for next fight, Star-Lord is going to have his ult. Magneto and Hela are getting close, and the only real ultimate on their side is Magneto, so they should win this next fight purely based off of ultimates. Again, in terms of playstyle, I don't know if I've been commenting enough on the Cloak and Dagger playstyle. Just sitting in the back, Dagger form, just keeping the team alive. I mean, that is, at its core, that is how you play Cloak and Dagger, is you sit in the back line and you heal your team. So here, just keeping the team up, tries to keep Hela up, and I think she sees this Magneto and wants to blind him, especially, is he looking to ult here? I didn't even realize that. I think a lot of people struggle with balance, like, how do you balance between Cloak and Dagger? How do you know when you should be using each form? Generally speaking, you're on Dagger the vast majority of the time, and you briefly switch to cloak if you want to get a blind off, and or if you see someone who's really weak and you want to help kind of finish the kill. But that's really it. The majority of your time is spent on dagger. And when you do switch, as you can see, opposite shift right here, I believe, immediately sends out the E and immediately switches back. And if you watch it in real time, you almost don't even see it. It's so fast. Switch, E, switch back. It's so fast. Magneto ults, and there is the beauty in this shift. I was wondering if you were, it's super hard to time. But here, if you didn't know, if you switch to cloak, his shift, or his right click, his right click makes you and people in it invisible, or I think it's like a second, maybe a little bit more. And if you time it right, you can dodge any ability in the game. You can negate any damage in the game. And so here, Magneto looking to alt, switches to cloak, pops the shift, saves herself, doesn't quite save Loki, which is interesting. I wonder why Loki died and she didn't. Uses it. She's still invis, he's still invis. Interesting. If you're a cloak and dagger main, let me know in the comments. Is that supposed to be how it works, where the duration on yourself is ever so slightly longer than on teammates? Because clearly this Loki was cloaked by the cloak we're spectating, but he came out of the invis before she did. And because of that, he dies, she doesn't. Kind of unfortunate timing there, but still saving herself, almost saving the Loki. That reaction time and that awareness to use the right click in that moment as cloak, super impressive. And ultimately they do win the fight. It looks that way anyway. They have 4 picks. I mean, it's the one thing I've noticed. I'm in GM, right? So I'm a good player. I'm not a great player, but what I've noticed that's different between gameplay like myself and top 500 players, just these 1% tweaks. It's like the little things that don't really look like a lot when you're watching in real time. If you actually break it down and process what's happening, it's super impactful to the game. Like, think about that. If she doesn't right click, if she doesn't switch to cloak and right click in that moment, they might lose that fight because that's both supports picked. Maybe not. It was a pretty clean fight, but still, like, that's a high impact split second decision. Just keeping the team full HP, healing in the back line. In terms of ultimates, looks like they're going to have a cloak and dagger ult. She's probably going to use that to take space on point. Hela, Star-Lord, and Bucky, and their entire team has ults. So my guess is they're going to burn everything. If they're smart, they're not going to burn everything, but they're probably going to win this fight regardless. It's just a matter of how many resources can they get the enemy team to burn so that they can win the fight after this one. It's kind of like chess in a way. You're thinking a few steps ahead. Star-Lord gets the Adam Warlock, which actually burns his ultimate. Well, burns his passive, not his ultimate. The Cloak and Dagger ultimate helps stall the point, and this is where all the ult spam comes in. I'd be shocked if they win this fight. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. When you have like 5 ults and the other team has 1 or 2, you're going to win that fight. If I'm the other team, though, I'm not super upset. Warlock has his ult, but the rest of the team is bare bones. Whereas Greedy's team almost has Hela, Iron Fist, Magneto, kind of. So as they approach up, kind of slow walking, just gonna keep the Magneto full HP. Surprised he's backing off, actually. Keeping the team alive, just farming that ult charge as fast as she can. Kind of doing a split push here. Enemy team's at 50%. So it's getting kind of close to the end here. Saves herself with the right click. I just can't get over the speed of the change. Like, she switches back and forth so quickly. Magneto looking to ult, just keeps him up. Takes out Bucky. Enemy Cloak and Dagger ults while she does. They kind of counter each other. It's not ideal if you have to kind of use your ult to counter the enemy Cloak and Dagger. Same time, you don't really have an option, I guess. Like, they both had their ultimates. And so if you see, so enemy, they ult, and I think my guess, because we're seeing that there's ult spam by everyone, my guess is that when Greedy saw the enemy Cloak and Dagger use their ult, he's like, screw it. This is going to start a snowball of ults where everything's going to pop off at once. I'm better off ulting now to be safe and make sure I get it off before I die than hold on to it, try and survive until that ult wears off, and then use yours to kind of prolong the fight. I think it was a better safe than sorry type of ult because of how many ults are about to come into play here, which we see. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 ults happening right now. Hela does get the Bucky, so they do have a numbers advantage. They are up 1, just keeping everyone up, and slowly, not even slowly, the entire enemy team is dead. That was a very unfortunate ult by Mr. Star-Lord here. Where is he? This was the desperation ult here. He was down, what, 2, basically 3 people? Down 3, including both supports. Hela's 1, and I think he panic ulted. Dies for it. Not ideal. It would have made more sense because he might have just wanted to die to regroup with his team versus stagger. That's fine, but to use your ult there, not great. Magneto walks up and uses his ult as an initiation ult. Interesting choice. Again, the quick switch actually stays on Cloak for a second, do some damage. Enemy Bucky is ulting, just sitting in the back line, playing safe, trying to keep everyone as healthy as possible, spamming the healing abilities. Looks like they are actually going to lose this fight. Yeah. This is going to be... How do they come back? Did he switch to Strange just a portal? So the Hela died and switched to Strange for a last second portal to contest the point. 96, 97, and they touch at 99%. Wow. The Hela switched to Strange. Jesus. Cloak and Dagger ulting on point just completely negates the Hela ult. Strange, actually, talk about a clutch swap. Okay, so Cloak and Dagger comes through the Strange portal and ults on point. Great play by the Cloak and Dagger, but how about this Strange as well? Everyone in a top 500 lobby is cracked. Everyone's very good. But talk about being able to flex and just impact the game at the snap of a finger. This Hela died, switched to Doctor Strange, the portal to point and force overtime. And then when the enemy Hela ults, he flies up and blocks a ton of the damage. I mean, the shield got melted, but a huge swap which bought time for the team to get a few picks. And that's just a high level series of plays right there. They're up what? They're up 4, like 5-2, and they're going to close out here. That's going to be game, right? Wow. Greedy Poo, MVP.